All right, so we got a beer from Stone here. Another beer from Stone because we're getting Stone in Western Canada now. So that's a pretty cool thing. This is a special beer from them. This is in honor of Matt Cartwright, one of their fellow brewers here who was not with us since 2013. So that's sad news, and this is the beer that he designed here. So this is 10.5% Imperial Cherrywood Smoked Saison. And like, I didn't know anything about the Memorial thing. I picked this beer up because it's sound. I just saw the Imperial Cherrywood Saison. So that's the coolest fucking recipe I think I've ever heard of. So, all right. So I've been sipping on this beer for a while now. Okay, so it's still got some head on it. Like I said, like a lower residual, low carb wheat beer thing, kind of like a Hoegaarden or whatever. But it is a Saison. If you're not familiar with Saisons, it's one of my least favorite styles. But this beer does everything that I want a Saison to do. It's 10.5% for one, okay? Second, it's smoked on cherry wood. Third, it's 10.5%. All right, so I mean, the Saisons I've always found a little bit thin and over-carbonated, and this is very low carb. I mean, you can get a bit of head out of it, which is very smooth and creamy head. I've been sitting here just enjoying this beer for quite some time now. So, and it still has a residual head to it, which, you know what I mean? It wasn't a whole lot of carbonation in this bottle, so maybe I got an odd bottle. It is bottle conditioned. I did mix the yeast up in this, and it also has aging instructions for cellaring. So the instructions are 55 degrees Fahrenheit or 13 degrees Celsius or below. So, and it's 10.5%. So if you're going to cellar it, make sure it's nice and cool, folks. Picking up just an amazing wheat beer aromas out of this. Being at 10.5%, you'd never know it. I would have guessed it's about 7 or 8%. I mean, I've had one of these glasses already, so I'm feeling it for sure. I mean, this is a very drinkable beer. Not a whole lot of hops to speak of, but there's enough to create a residual low carb head on here. And like I say, a lot of the times with the Saisons I've had, they're so bottle conditioned craziness in the carbonation and stuff. And cherrywood smoke, I'm really enjoying the smokiness of this beer. I'm starting to get into smoked beers, and you're picking it up right off the bat, all through the middle and in the finish. It's a very heavy smokiness. I mean, it's not a light smokiness. There are a few beers out there that are smoked beyond belief, which is still cool and stuff, but this one's a little bit more within the realms of sanity. So I'm really happy about that. I mean, I'm really enjoying this beer a lot. I've enjoyed pretty much everything Stone's brought up here, and we got the Area Bastard. I have yet to do that one, and I don't have that one on me, but I'm going to be buying that hopefully. And I got the milk coffee stout in the fridge, so that's coming soon, folks. So really, really impressed with these guys' beer, and this is definitely no exception. Here's the color. I mean, you can't see through this beer. I mean, and it's an orangey gold, kind of yellowy orangey thing, and you know, wheat beers are typically a bit hazy, this and that, whatever. But I mean, this is at 10.5%, so there's a lot of malt in here, people. Yeah, picking up a little bit of alcohol. It's kind of with a little bit of a citrus in the back. You kind of get the alcohol. And a rich smokiness is a very heavy body, this, which is a nice 90-degree corner from what I'm used to on Saisons, because Saisons are usually a little too light for me and a little too carbonated and not enough booze in them and stuff. So they're kind of like, I always thought of them as a bit of a sissy beer. So this one is definitely, now it's full, it's rich, it's smoky, it's heavy. There's lots of alcohol in here. It's a sipping beer. You're really getting a nice wheat vibe out of this beer. I mean, it's really awesome. The head's just nice, subtle, low carb. Like, this bottle was so low carb, and I'm really a big fan of that. I hate too much carbonation. It's one of the biggest pet peeves I have with beer. So they've taken a Saison, so right, you know what I mean? And they've turned it into an absolutely amazing beer for me, which is awesome. And this is apparently Matt Cartwright's brainchild here. So Uh, that's a great recipe. So you know what I mean. So he knew what the hell he was doing. So they got their mash paddles raised here in memory. You know, kind of a salute out. That's what the mash paddles are. Pointed up. So a big salute out to Matt Cartwright. I hope I'm pronouncing all that right. I read off his site a little bit, and I'm not maybe slightly dyslexic, and reading things backwards in the camera doesn't help all the time. But yeah, I'm a big fan of cherry wood too. I've never dealt with a whole lot of the smoking side of it, but I install hardwood flooring, and I got a guitar body here that I've been working on, made out of cherry, which is one of the most fabulous tone woods out there. So the Rosids family of wood is, and I learned that just today off that bottle. So what this is, it's a wonderful tone wood. I think it's much better than maple, which is what Gibson puts on their Les Paul tops. So PRS, you know, they're using maple. Cherry, if you've ever seen anyone build a cherry guitar on YouTube, somebody did a Telecaster out of it, and I just like, whoops. I was like, I gotta have that. I gotta have a cherry guitar. So I went out and started fucking building one. So, and I love cherry. I mean, that's not a very flashy piece of cherry, by the way. Cherry as a wood can really get really impressive, especially like when you're dealing with hardwood flooring and they got the finish on and everything. So once the finish is on that, I basically bought a cheaper piece of cherry just to start building guitars. I'm not a luthier, people. Is one of my interests, and now that I can get a top-notch guitar from China for $400, my guitar building has kind of got it's on the back burner right now. You know what I mean? So we're getting all kinds of awesome guitars out of China all of a sudden that are just kicking the shit out of Gibson. You know, if you want to spend $3,500 on a Les Paul, be my guest. All right. Great wheat beer smells. Loving this beer all the way. Fabulous beer, and this being the first Stone beer that I'm going to officially fucking Spinal Tap as 11 out of 11. I couldn't ask for better Saison, people. So it's sad to hear about Matt Cartwright here and coming up with a beer that I think is absolutely phenomenal, and enjoying it, sipping it, savoring it, and yeah, this is definitely a wheat beer that you are gonna want to try. I mean, this is one of the best ones I've ever had in my entire life. It's definitely up there, and you see this head just won't go away, even though there's not a lot of hops in here. So, that booze and that smokiness. I mean, you think of Saison, you keep forgetting about the smokiness. There's such a great smokiness in their alcohol smokiness, and then the malts bring the Saison and low carb. That's a hell of a concoction, people. Beerzerker, and I'm out. Yeah, yeah, woo!